Recent tragedies at music festivals in BC and Ontario are putting a spotlight on so-called party drugs. 3 people have died since Friday. 2 are in critical condition and dozens more were sent to hospital. Police in Toronto say they have identified 2 types of pills that were taken at this weekend's Veld Festival, but they still don't know what those pills may contain. Joining us this morning, we have 2 guests on this subject. From Calgary is addiction specialist John Strukins, and here in studio with me, the president and CEO of Addiction Canada, John Haines. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Such an important subject, and so important for parents to be aware of all of this. I'll start with you, John, here in studio. What are these party drugs?
These party drugs, rave drugs, they're essentially ecstasy, MDMA, but unfortunately they are reproduced by the dealers, the producers, to get a high effect, to get a better effect, a more prolonged effect. The natural production of MDMA is to last, what they say, 3 to 6 hours. Potency is what will bring them back to say, I want that pill again. And as you've seen in many of the things that are produced right now, the dealers are putting their own stamps. They're reproducing these pills, repressing them, putting their own stamps on top so that people will ask for them at the next rave. The problem is you have, as you said earlier in our discussions off camera, was the peer pressure. Right. My own son was at this concert, which the deaths occurred this past weekend.
He sent you pictures of these drugs being passed around.
No, he sent me pictures of the concert, but told me after that he thinks his friends were offered some of this. They don't partake in this type of drug, but he told me about this. They are afraid to try it. I mean, at least he's upfront with me about that. But it is startling, the effect of this drug and the amount of this drug available at all these. This was a mass concert. There's a lot of underground raves this drug is being mass produced and sold at these events.
Let's go to Calgary. John, what is it about these drugs that attracts young kids, and it seems that this rave culture and these so-called party drugs go hand in hand?
Well, they're attracted to the high, like most of the youth culture, and I mean, that's what they're looking for, is that they don't have the same set of sort of cognitive barriers that suggest that they think through some of the consequential realities of what will happen by using these substances, and so they engage them. They're simply looking to, as was already mentioned, sometimes it's engaging in peer pressure that's occurring, but they take the substances, obviously, looking for that high and looking for what they think will end up being an enhanced experience at whatever event they are attending.
Right, you can dance all night and party all night. What are the effects on the body and what makes them fatal, John?
What we think, and then again, we'll have to wait, I'm sure, from toxicology reports back on this particular event. However, what it is they're adding, as I said, to potency, and they're adding stuff such as cocaine, bath salts, which is in itself now an illicit drug that youth are taking. They're adding many different types of chemicals. You don't know what you're getting, but the effects of MDMA itself on the body and the central nervous system is that it also produces an effect where the body cannot regulate its own temperature, thereby increasing heart rate, blood pressure. The result on the central nervous system and not being able to regulate the temperature is overheating. And just like your car, if it overheats and you run it too long, you'll blow your engine. And that may have been the cause of these deaths. We don't know yet, but it could be cardiac arrest, could have been seizure, stroke, any of these things. And this is the effect on the body that these drugs have. However, it will take deaths to bring to light the effect of what's happening in this subculture. And I'm not going to tell you that the MDMA in its pure form and being, distributed just like that is safe, because it's by no way safe. Obviously, it was banned in the 1980s. But what's happened is that now, as I told you earlier, it was for a dissociative effect psychoactive drug produced way back when in the 50s. It was actually produced in the early 1900s. These kids are taking it because it has that effect of, out of body and I love you, man, and all these effects. So they go for that. And unfortunately, once they're on that trip, that high, that body is overheating, they don't know how to, deal with that.
Final word from Calgary, please. John, what should parents be looking for? What's the conversation that they should be having with their teens before they even go near these drugs, go near these parties or wherever they might be available?
Parents need to be cautioned and aware of their child's peer groups, obviously. Any major changes in their scholastic or other behavioral patterning is sometimes a sign or symptom that something's changing in their life and or they've started to engage in the use of substances. And so keeping track of any sort of major or significant alteration in their behavioral patterning or, as I said, in their peer groups or scholastic areas can be very meaningful as a precursor to sitting down and having a conversation about what, if anything, is changing in their life and are they engaging in drug use at any level. That conversation with kids should start as early as 6 years old.
6 years old, wow. Great information from both of you. Thanks so much. John Struikens joining us from Calgary. John Haines with me here in studio. Appreciate both of your perspectives.